So you guys love love like this, eh? You guys like romance like this. After forming hard guy, hard guy, hard girl, hard girl. You guys, I just watched Love in Every Word. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Reality Check with Adaeze. Here we discuss reality shows, movies, trending topics, and topics I find fascinating. Today we are discussing Love in Every Word, the Nigerian movie produced by Omoni Oboli. This movie has been trending on YouTube, but I'm just getting to it because I had so many things to do. And then at some point, the movie disappeared. It was taken off because of copyright or something. And I was like, yeah, after being, like, I literally left this movie open, like the tab open, thinking, okay, when I'm done, I'll quickly watch it and come and tell you guys about it. Only for me to go and I couldn't find the movie again. I panicked. But thankfully today the movie was put back, and spoiler alert, this video is going to contain a lot of spoilers and I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the movie, okay? So Love in Every Word is about the love story of Chama and I wanted to say Uzo, but actually his name is Obiora. Chama is played by Bam Bam and Obiora is played by Uzo, okay? Chama is a marketing executive. She lives in Lagos. She's in a relationship. She has her friends. She basically has her life in Lagos. And Obiora, aka Odogu, is a billionaire businessman from Anambra State and he lives in Anambra. Chama is a hardworking, ambitious young lady who works in a media marketing firm in Lagos. She is used to dating pretty much bombs, okay? At the beginning of the movie, she is with a loser. Like, literally, the guy is a loser. The guy lost like $5,000 of her money in forex trading, and according to the story, that's not all he had lost. She had funded different businesses that he had proposed to her, only for him to lose all the money. Okay, so he came to ask her for more money and she kicked him out with nothing. Okay, she collected everything that she bought for him from him, and she sent him out of her house pretty much in his singlet and his boxers. By the way, she has a very mean boss. Okay, the woman is someone who doesn't give her breathing space. There's this guy that is the woman's boy toy that works with them, and the boss always tries to pass off Chama's work as Sheung is the guy's name. She always tries to pass off Chama's ideas as Sheung's ideas and always tries to put Chama as second fiddle, or like Chama should be working under Sheung even when the idea is hers, okay? The boss is also a kind of person that doesn't want her to have any breathing space. She wants her to be working all the time, doesn't want her to take breaks and all of that, okay? However, she took break and she went for her cousin's wedding in the village, and her mom actually was looking forward to her coming for her cousin's wedding so that she could introduce her to this Obiora guy, right? So when she got to the village, even before her mom introduced her to the guy, she saw him walking in and their eyes met and it was electric. You know that electric? There was an electric exchange between them, okay? And, you know, towards the end of the day, she basically meets him, not through her mom. She was hiding from her mom, actually. And the guy saw her where she was hiding and went to meet her and, you know, offered her his drink. He saw that she was frustrated and he asked her what she's, you know, going through or what's going on with her. She proceeds to tell him that she is having issues with her boss at work or with her work, and she's also out of a 2-year relationship. Okay, basically she's single, and voila, the guy is happy because he is the one that wanted to meet her, and initially he was under the impression that she was in a relationship. Okay, so he was very happy and he told her that he is going to marry her. Okay, and she laughed. Okay, she laughed him to stupid. You know, somebody laughs hysterically at you because you are not making sense. She was not like, do you know me, or you don't even know me? And then he proceeds to tell her basically who she is because he had asked questions about her, and apparently she had also asked about him. Okay, so they were both interested in each other. Okay, so after that, they go ahead to talk. They go to his hotel room and Chama sleeps off on his bed while he takes the couch. As a gentleman, he sleeps off sitting down on the couch, basically, right? So the next day she wakes up and she heads, you know, out and she goes back to Lagos. and they didn't actually exchange numbers or anything. So while she was at work in Lagos dealing with her nonsense boss, by the way, Chama also has a perfume business, okay, I forgot to mention that, and there's this store she wants to buy in Lekki, but she cannot afford it at that time, okay. So she's at work just dealing with her nonsense boss when she begins to hear music outside the window. She goes out there and sees Odogu Parara. She sees Odogu Obiora. He's out there dancing with Ogene. Is it Ogene they call them? All these people that play the local Igbo flute and music. He proceeds to tell her that he just wants her number. You know, they didn't exchange numbers, so he came all the way to Lagos to collect her number, right? And then the boss now calls the security man and tells the security man to send this people out of here, including the guy, only for the security man. This part, anyway, I don't want to get into it, but okay. Then the security man now tells them that Obiora actually bought the building that morning. So Obiora is now their new landlord. Okay, so they have no right to kick him out of the property, basically. So eventually, Chama gives him her number. All is well and good. So this guy tries different ways to get Chioma. Okay, like he said, he sees Chioma as his wife. He's sure that Chioma is his wife. So he's just trying to hasten up the whole thing. Okay, he's just trying to cut to the chase. Let's get to the end. We already know what the end is. Let's get to the end, right? So he tries different ways. He takes her out for dinner. He is such a gentleman. He doesn't really care whether she cooks or doesn't cook. He loves to hear her talk. He wants to hear her talk. In fact, when she was asking him about himself, he was like, if you want to hear about me, take me out on a date and you pay for that date, okay? But I paid for this date to just listen to you and watch you talk. And he's praising her. Do you know the way Igbo men, if Igbo men mean you, if Igbo men want to praise you, if Igbo men want to get you, my dear, it's over for you. If an Igbo man sets his eyes on you and says, this one is my own, it's over for you. But anyway, he's calling her sweet names, Achalugo, which other name again? Asanwa, all those names that they call, Igbo men call their ladies, right? He's calling her sweet names. He says she's so beautiful, she's this, she's that. He's buying her gifts, all kinds of gifts, sending her food, and stuff like that. But she's pulling away from him. At some point, she actually stopped picking his calls, and this guy tries to call her several times. She stopped picking his calls, right? And her friends are asking her, because she has these two friends who are really close to her. One of them is a lawyer, and that lawyer is trying to get her money back from that her bum of a boyfriend. Apparently that her boyfriend that she broke up with is actually a trust fund baby, okay? So he got his trust fund at some point, and then the friend sued him at some point, and Chioma got her money back at some point, in fact plus extra, okay? Anyway, so these her friends are now asking her, why are you pulling back? What is it about this guy that you don't like? Is it that he's smelling? She says no. Is it that he's this? She says no. Is it different things? She said that's not the issue. So what is the issue? She then reveals that it is his accent. Now, Obiora has this very strong, strongish Igbo accent, okay? Like the typical Nnabros. You know how Nnabros are. Chinedu and Sons, Ewem container on the high sea, importer, exporter, Ewem shop, 10. Anamazoafia na Aspanda. You know that typical accent. That is what Obiora has, right? So that's what Chioma says she doesn't like about him, is just his accent. And her friends are like, you need prayers, you need therapy, and you need deliverance. Both of them join, because your problem must be from the village. Like, a guy that is this perfect for you, like he checks all the boxes, it's just that he's not your type because he's a typical Igbo man with accent, okay, with the Igbo accent. So anyway, at some point she's missing him. She calls him to tell him that she's missing him, and they now start dating officially, but they're not physically intimate, because the guy says he wants to wait, till they get married. Eventually, he gets to meet her friends in a jewelry shop. They actually have her and her friends went to the jewelry shop first, and then he came to buy a gift for his niece. They were asking her which one she wanted, and she was like, no, she doesn't really need anything. And the guy was like, go and bring that rose, I think, ring and whatever jewelry set that she wanted, bring it and bring the one beside it, okay? And she was like, that's too expensive, because one was $17,000, one was I don't know how many $1,000. Not only did he pay for her own, he also paid for her friends' gifts as well, okay? The one that her friends picked out as well. So the friends were like, hey, like, we are your, like, you know how you guys, you know how these things are now. If your friend wants to break up with our boyfriend, like, are you okay? Are you normal? Anyway, so they took our boyfriend. In fact, at this point is everybody's boyfriend. They took our boyfriend, and they all went out, and he was like, he wants to hear from them about her. She's doing shakara, that they should come and give him gist about her. So they go out on this, they go out to eat, and then they are just giving him gist about her childhood. She's just there smiling sheepishly. They're all vibing and having fun, right? So afterwards, so many things happened. One interesting part that I liked was when she was sleeping. Eventually, I don't know if they actually eventually had sex, but eventually the child ended up on the same bed, right? And while she was sleeping, her phone starts to ring, and it is her boss calling her to do what at 3 a.m. So the guy picks up her phone first of all, and he's like, just pick your call, maybe it's an emergency. And she's telling him, see, I promise you it is not an emergency. I know this woman. It is, just ignore it. And he's like, no, now let's just pick the call, it might be emergency. He eventually picks the call, only for that one on the other side, the boss, to start raining insults on Chama, because she thought it was Chama that picks the call, right? Said raining insults on Chama, starts calling her names, starts telling her that, she's so lazy, she's so incompetent. Why didn't she pick her calls, or why didn't she respond to her emails? Then Odogu Obera was like, are you mad? Are you okay? Why are you shouting like someone like looking for asylum? Like, he really gave it to her hot. Like, he wasn't finding it funny. He gave her the shouting of her life. I'm sure she thought her voice was loud until she heard his voice, okay? So they continued. At some point, he even invited her to his house, and he cooks for her. I was just like, this guy now, wow. Now, where did they find this one? And then while they are eating and chatting, he's asking her, okay, what's the problem? Why are we not moving forward? And then she says, that she doesn't really like Igbo men, because Igbo men don't like women who are independent. Igbo men don't really like women who take care of themselves. They want women who will depend on them for everything. Women they can control. And he was like, no, he likes independent and ambitious women, that in fact that's kind of woman that he likes. But she's like, no, don't just tell me what you think I want to hear. I know how Igbo men are. And he tries to dispel all her worries, but then she's still saying no. Then eventually she tells him that the reason why she doesn't really want him is because of his accent, and the guy is visibly upset and saddened by it. So when they are done, he decides to take her home. When they got to her house, he's not really speaking much. It's obvious that he's not happy with what she told him. But while she's about to enter her house, he calls her back, and then he goes to the back of his car, brings out her gifts, and then gives it to her. And then she's now like, why are you so nice to me? Even after what I said to you, even though I know you're upset, why are you still so nice to me? And then he said, even though I am upset with you, it doesn't mean that I will be mean to you. Bars. But yeah, really, like, if you meet a guy like that, he's very sweet, okay? Trust me. You see guys that, even though they're upset with you, they still do what they have to do. Trust me. When I say trust me, I mean trust me. That's the best kind of guy to have. But anyway, he now tells her that, yeah, I'm not your spec. There's nothing I can do about it now. I'm not your spec. I'm not your spec. At some point, her mom comes to see her, asking her about Obiora, and she's like, nothing. I'm in a relationship or whatever. And the mom is like, please, I'm not going to eat until you guys mend things, because this is my paycheck, basically. This is our chance as getting wealth, okay? I'm tired of working like a man, because the mother is a single mom, right? So I'm tired of working so hard. Like, just agree to this guy now. This guy, everybody in the village, all the women in the village have been throwing themselves at him, but he's not accepting anyone. At that point, Obiora and Chama are not talking. Then Obiora is on a call with his friend, and his friend is saying, what's the problem? Why are you upset? And him is saying that what really upset him is the fact that she sounded so shallow. That is she that shallow that, she doesn't want him just because of his accent and stuff like that. And then the friend then says, oh, that's rather rich coming from you, who has been rejecting women for the flimsiest of reasons, that if this girl loves you half as much as you love her, she will eventually come around. And if she doesn't, then move on, because that's how you've been rejecting people too. Okay, so are you upset that she rejected you because of your accent, or you are upset that she rejected a whole Odogu? Think about it. Anyway, they eventually make up, and he comes to her office with food and gifts. He's always sending her gifts, like different gifts all the time. He comes to her office and he's talking with her and asking her, why are you still at work, even though it's already past, your work time? And then she's like, oh, she has to work. So he's asking her about her perfume business, like, why are you not using this time to work on your perfume business? And she's then saying that, oh, she doesn't have stock. I think he even said he tried to order from her store, but they didn't really have any stock and all of that. She now said yes, that the problem is that she needs money, and she needs money to stock up her shop. And he's like, how much do you make at this job? She said she makes 750. How much do you make in your perfume store? She said on a good month she makes like 1.8 million. And he's like, just leave this job and then put the energy you're putting into this job into your perfume job, okay, your perfume business. And then she's telling him that it's not that simple, because this job is a more stable job for her. Her perfume business, some days it's good, sometimes it's not good. So she's pretty much holding on to her job because of the stability. He then offers to invest in her business, like, okay, you need investors, right? Let me invest in your business. And she says no, she doesn't want to accept anything from any man. She doesn't want to accept anything from him. And he's not like, oh, that's, what if we were married and I want to invest in your business, would you accept it or not? And she's like, she doesn't really answer that. And then he now says that, wait, he just realized what the problem is. That the problem with her is that she doesn't really see him as her husband. She doesn't really see a future with him. She's just using him to while away time while she waits for her perfect man. So he gets offended and, upset at the whole thing. And he says, you know what, there's really no point in me forcing myself where I am not wanted. There's really no point him investing all this energy into their relationship when obviously she doesn't want him. Okay, then they show us where her friends invite Obiora to talk with him, and then they're telling him that the reason why she is rejecting him is because he reminds her of her dad, that apparently when they were younger, her father was living abroad, he had a wife abroad, while the mom and Chama in Nigeria were his away family. Okay, so that the abroad wife even came back to Nigeria to fight Chama and her mom. So yeah, in a nutshell, the reason why she doesn't want him is because he reminds her a lot of her father. Her father had that same accent. Her father was also a very wealthy man, and all that and all that. When they finished, she was like, okay. He now stood up and left. They were even saying, there was a funny part where they said that they are waiting, that it's almost like she's waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay, so basically the Chama is waiting for him to show himself, because it's almost like the guy is too perfect. So it's like, okay, if I continue with you, am I one day going to wake up and see that all these things are just lies, and that maybe you have a family somewhere, or you have a wife and children somewhere, or you have a whole other life somewhere else? And then he stood up and left. Then next we see Chama in her bed. She's just doing her work while she's looking sad. Then her friend comes to visit her and says she has a surprise for her, and then the surprise is Obiora. Obiora came to visit her, and then he's telling her that they had a talk with him, and he now understands why she is rejecting him. And then she's telling him that, oh, that she's so sorry, she really misses him, she really loves him, she loves him, he loves her, oh, they are so romantic. That part was very romantic. At some point, he was now saying that he's hot, that he needs to change her AC or take her out of the room, that the room is hot. And then she's like, maybe it's just that he's agitated. He now said, yes, that is because, she's too hot. Because she's very hot and she's too close for comfort. He was quite, like, let me not say uncomfortable, but he was, he was having butterflies in his tummy. Anyway, eventually she tries to propose to him. She says she got a ring. She wants to propose to him, and he's like, he's a titled Igbo man. You cannot propose to me, and even if you can, you need diamonds, and you don't have diamonds. Okay, so that anyway, he came with a ring and he just proposed to her, and they hugged and kissed and whatever, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Now let's talk about what I liked about the movie. I liked Bam Bam's acting. I also liked Bam Bam's mom's acting, okay? In fact, the scenes between Bam Bam and her mom were my favorite scenes, okay? When it comes to cinematography, visually, the movie was good, okay? I mean, it is a low budget, like, YouTube movie, so I wasn't really expecting much from the movie, and it was just okay for what it is. Yeah, I can't be judging it with Netflix standard or blockbuster standard, okay? For what it is, the movie looked visually appealing, okay? And then they had lots of funny moments, okay? I had moments where I chuckled, and they had lots of interesting moments, intense moments as well. At some point I was shy. I was I couldn't watch, especially when Chama and Obiora kissed at her doorstep. I couldn't watch, you guys. I was uncomfortable. I was like, you would think my mother was sitting down beside me while we're watching a kissing scene. I couldn't watch because it felt very intense. They really acted well in that part, okay? And both of them actually have good chemistry. Even though there were parts where it felt almost like you can see like little bits of panic in the guy's eyes, almost like this is getting too real. Or maybe I'm just seeing what I'm there to see, Sha. But I feel like I saw bits of panic in his eyes, like during a scene, especially when they are getting very close for comfort or, you know, getting intimate. There are scenes where it almost seems like it will flash across his face that, Omo, this is my person wife. You know, that's how I saw it, Sha. But anyway, their chemistry was good. Even her chemistry with her co-stars who were acting as her friends, they had good chemistry, they had good vibes. When it comes to the soundtrack and the music in the movie, I would give it like a 5/10 because there were some parts where the music was like really appropriate for the scene. It really meshed well. Then there were some parts that the music, I was like, what's happening here? The music was so out of left field. It was like,
issue. How are you? How are you feeling?
Good, I'm feeling fine. It's my big day.
in fact, at some point, I even checked to know whether the music was coming from somewhere else and not the movie I was watching. Maybe I left the tab open somewhere else and something is playing there. That's how it felt mismatched in some places, but in some places it really works, okay? Now, that brings me to the downside of the movie, okay? The part where they lost me. Number one is the pacing of the movie. The movie was too slow for me, okay? Maybe it's because, well, for Nigerian movie standard, it was kind of okay, but I am so used to fast-paced movies, series, scrolling on TikTok that I was like, okay. I saw myself being like, okay, just say what you want to say, let us move on to the next scene, right? The movie was a bit slow for my liking. Also, I had some issues with Uzo's accent. There were areas where Uzo's accent was changing, okay? That strong Igbotic accent, there were parts where it was very strong, and then in other parts, it sounded like he was just speaking like a theater arts student. He was speaking very clearly without the accent, right? So it almost felt like, you know how people talk when they are in stage plays, especially Nigerian stage plays, right? You know that Nigerian accent when they are in stage plays, how they enunciate their words, how they project their voice, how they pronounce their words. That was how it was sounding. It wasn't sounding like the strong Igbotic accent that he had in some places, okay?
My being angry with you doesn't mean that I have to be mean to you. So it's fine. It's not a problem. It is what it is.
Then his character seemed a little bit too perfect, okay? It seemed a little bit too good to be true, especially since they didn't show us anything much about him. Even the parts where she was asking him about himself, he didn't really reveal much about himself. So to me, it felt like a one-sided characterization, okay? It felt like we knew almost everything about her, but we didn't really know much about him, aside the fact that he's a businessman and that he's rich and that he has a niece, okay? But about his person, what he likes and stuff like that, we didn't really get to see much about him, his business, his friends. Yeah, he talked to a friend on the phone, but him and his friends, how they interact, yeah, we didn't really see much about him. Okay, for a movie that was that long and a movie that was that slow, they had enough time to actually build his character some more. Then there were some cringe moments as well, like that part where he came to collect her number with the dancers and singers and he was dancing with them. Who does that? Like, in what world is that something that a billionaire businessman would do? It didn't make sense. Okay, it was so cringy and it was just out of place. That part did not make sense. There were some of that dialogue as well that didn't really make sense. Then also there were some flaws in her own characterization as well, because you say you are a hardworking, independent, ambitious woman, and then you've worked in the same place for over 3 years. You've worked really hard and you haven't gotten a promotion, you haven't gotten a salary increase. Then they are passing off your work as someone else's work, and they are subjecting you to like be the second fiddle in your own projects and ideas, right? For someone who says that she is ambitious, she didn't really fight it that much. Okay, after she met him, when she used him to threaten the boss, yes, she tried to fight it, but oh, I forgot to mention, she actually resigned from that job as well, okay? She resigned from the job. She hired her assistant to come and work for her, right? But before then, if you are very ambitious and very independent and very hardworking, you would not tolerate some of the nonsense that she was tolerating in her job, okay? And also, she would have put in more effort in her side business, okay, in her perfume business, if she was as ambitious as she was portraying herself to be. Overall, I feel like I would have loved the movie some more if they had shown his own family dynamics as well, his parents, if they are alive or not alive, his sisters, if he has sisters, his brothers, if he has brothers. I would have loved to see a little bit more about his life, his family dynamics, his business, his friends, the kind of person he is when she's not there, okay? Because from the way he was portrayed, he was almost perfect. A typical Igbo man, billionaire businessman. He wants someone that is independent, someone that is ambitious. He wants someone that doesn't cook. He wants someone that doesn't And then she lives in Lagos, he lives in Anambra, and he says that he doesn't have issues with coming to see her, just taking flights up and down anyhow. Not her taking flights, him taking flights up and down to see her, because he has 11 houses in Ikoyi, 20 houses in Lagos, 11 houses in Ikoyi, this and that. Like, it was too good to be true, in my own opinion. Yeah, I wish they had showed more about his life and just showed more about who he is without her in the picture. However, my overall rating for this movie, for what it is, okay, for a YouTube Nigerian movie, I will rate it a solid 7/10. Okay, it was fun to watch. I love the chemistry and the dynamics between Bam Bam and Uzo, and also Bam Bam and the person that acted as her mom. Okay, I love their acting. Yeah, it's a feel-good movie. Would I watch it again? The answer is no. Even though I saw people online saying they've watched it 2 or 3 times, I'm like, I can see why you watch it 2 or 3 times, but me, I will not watch it again. Like, once is enough. If you haven't watched it and you still want to watch it, I suggest you go and watch it now. As you finish watching this video, go and click and watch it before they take it down again, okay? But yeah, it's good. I look forward to seeing more movies like this, okay? Well, with better storylines, but I look forward to seeing more movies like this. And if you guys have any movies or series or anything that you want me to review, kindly leave them in the comment section of my videos. Even if it's not today, like maybe another day, on a random day, you just see a movie and you want me to watch and review it, just come to my comment section and type it there that you want me to watch and review this so and so movie, okay? Yeah, I'll try and watch it. I'll try and keep up. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.